What is up, my dudes? It is your boy Drew here from MechaWorks. Today we are covering three very common issues with E30s. This video is really for the new guys. You veteran guys should know this stuff, just like the last video that I did. So sit down, grab a beer, let's talk about it.
Now turn up.
All right, guys, first of all, I know there's been a huge gap in videos. I've been out of town for about 2.5 months, and I've only been home, for those 2.5 months, I've only been home for like 2 or 3 days in between. So you guys have been blowing up my stuff while I'm on the road about when the next video is coming out and all kinds of stuff. Well, I'm trying to get this in now before I get even more busy. And I got a really awesome reveal for you guys, something that I'm purchased while I was out of town. So if you guys want to see what that is, make sure you watch the following video that's coming out, and I'll give you a little tease at the end of this video. So let's get into it. All right, guys, so we're going to start from least severe to most severe as far as problems go that's fixable. With these cars, you have basically your clapped out suspension. That's going to be number one. These cars always have clapped out suspension when you get them, because the youngest ones on the road were made for the US, I believe, is 92, 93, the convertibles. So, but typically about 91 and back are going to be all of your E30s. They're old, they're clapped out, people don't take care of them. It's just how it goes. So the first thing you're going to want to do when you get your E30 is, if it's running, you want to refresh all your suspension. If the PO's already done that, awesome. Make sure you go behind them and touch every nut and bolt, touch every screw, touch everything. Make sure it's as it should be. I had a car about 3 months ago before I left for my work trip that came in, and the guy was like, yeah, the PO said he's done everything. It's good to go. It's awesome. I get under the car, and the rear diff bolt was like 2 threads on there, so it wasn't even close to being tight. So make sure you go back and you check stuff like that just to make sure, so you could sleep at night. I promise you it's worth it. These cars are not very expensive to redo the entire suspension for, unless you go through you know, like big dollar coilovers and stuff like that, or air ride, things like that. But as far as bushings go, Rev Shift, those are my guys. I'll drop a link down in the description. Make sure you check them out. They are awesome. I've used them on all of my BMWs, have had no problems. Install is so easy on them. And I know it's a shameless plug, but hey, they support me, I support them. So make sure you check them out. They make a great product. They don't squeak, easy install, and they're very comfortable, even on the street, even on the track. Let's move on to number 2. All right, so for number 2 on the list is going to be wiring. A lot of times these cars have wiring issues, not from the factory, but from sitting for so long. I don't know why, and okay, I can guess. I think I know why. So the wires get chewed on. And I mean that through mice, rats, squirrels, even rabbits I've seen. But they basically chew on the wires in these cars. I think it's because they're still soy-based, or they were soy-based. I'm not sure if BMW still uses soy-based wire coatings. And so basically when they sit, mice take the opportunity and they just shred it. And they turn a lot of these cars into nests, like rats' nests, mice nests, whatever. So I know this car's been sitting for a minute. It still drives, still runs perfectly, but I just haven't been home to drive it. And the other day I was getting in here about 2 or 3 days ago, and I noticed there was a lot of things that were a little out of place in the interior, and found some little droppings and traced it all the way back to the rear speaker shelf, pulled up the rear speaker shelf, and there was a mice nest or mouse nest under the shelf where the speakers are. So I took care of it. Dude looks like he hasn't been there in a couple weeks, but I took care of it. But the car sat, so they find the opportunity to do so. And when these cars sit in fields forever, it's going to happen. You're not going to get around it. I have heard horror stories of these cars burning to the ground because mice get in there, they chew the wires are exposed to each other, they short, and they burn the car down. So it's really hard to fix, but it is fixable. It's just really hard to fix. And that leads to a lot of times where there's electrical problems with these cars. So they get chewed on, and then you have a short somewhere and it starts affecting something else. You know, one system starts affecting the next system. You can have anything from your window won't roll down to the car won't start. So, or the fuel pump won't work or something like that, just because the wires have been chewed on. So that is a very common thing with these cars. It is really hard to fix, and sometimes you draw the short straw, sometimes you don't. Yeah, so let's move on to number one. So number one, or number three, however we ordered this, is gonna be rust. It sucks. It's just what these cars do. There's a reason why they're known as rust buckets. Pretty much every car from the 80s is a rust bucket. But the common issues, the common places in these cars are going to be on the passenger side, is going to be right here, and that is going to be the battery tray. I have seen on a couple E30s that the driver's side has been rusted out. Most of the time it's just a small bit of rust. You can throw some spray paint over it and just seal it, make sure it doesn't rust or continue to rust. But a lot of people will chop this off and weld a piece of metal right there. It's really at your discretion on how you want to fix it. There's really no right way to fix it. And this car, the battery tray started to, but I got a hold of it. I put some rust sealant on there. It stopped rusting and I painted over it. It's been great ever since. But another place, and I will show you this, and it pains me that I have to show you this because I don't want it to be my car to have this issue, but it does. They each have their own problem. The front, pretty much where the clutch pedal goes in, that footwell area right there, rusts really bad. It collects water. The passenger side does it every now and then too, but typically it's going to be the driver's side. And then the roof. So let me show you right quick. And my garage is a mess. I have not been home in, I haven't been home in a while. So it pains me to show you this, but right here, you can see this dot right here. If I can get you in on that. That's starting to rust. That is a cancer spot that is starting to rust. Let's see, on here you can see where the sunroof has been. Well, not really. So I got some clear coat missing here. There's a tiny little spot right in here. And then let me show you the actual problem. The actual problem. Okay, I guess I can take my sunglasses off since I'm in here. Not too happy about this. I'm really not. Enjoy. So that is an actual hole, and it's a good size. So I got to take it to a body shop and have them patch it in. And yeah, my radiator fits though. That's it's always good. But yeah, so it's a common issue on these cars. They rust around the sunroof like that. And my red E30 that is sitting over in storage has the same issue right now. So, and it has a fresh coat of paint on it, so they're going to rust. You're just not going to get around it. Man, it sucks. And it's expensive. It can be very expensive to fix. So that's pretty much the three biggest issues. I got a bug crawling on me, what the hell? Okay, so that's pretty much the three biggest issues with these cars. They're fixable, but they're a pain in the ass. The suspension's the easiest part, but the rust and the wiring is a real pain in the ass. Don't let that discourage you from buying these cars though, because these cars are amazing, they're brilliant, but they do have their problems just like every other car has. So again, I just want to say sorry for being out of town. I got to make a living. I got to pay for these things, and I got to pay for the new toy that I just bought. And I said that I would show you guys, so it's the end of the video, so I'll show you what I bought. Oh, so you guys did stick around. You do want to see what I bought. So yeah, so I'm out of town for work, and I'm scrolling through the car ads, because you know that's what every car guy does. He scrolls through cars that he can't afford, And I came across a car that I've been wanting for, about 10 years now. And I mean, legitimately, about 10 years. And I called the guy and I said, hey, you still got that? And he's like, yeah, you want to come look at it? I'm like, hell yeah, I want to come look at it. And I ended up buying it and brought it home. So there she is. It's a 2013 E92 M3 6-speed. If you want to know more about it and, backstory and all that, if you guys even care, then watch the next video that's coming out and you guys can know all the details on it. All I can tell you is I am absolutely in love with this car. And don't worry, the S62 car will have an update coming out as well. And the S54 car will be having an update coming out as well now that I'm home for hopefully longer than a week. So yeah, until next time guys, I'll see you later.